Okay, so our next topic is now correction of errors. This will be your last topic for your midterm. So when we say correction of errors, meron tayong nag-exist na prior period errors. Prior period errors are because of omission or misstatements. Okay? Due to omissions or misstatements because the information is not reliable or is still not available when the accountant is preparing for the financial statement. Okay? So, nagkakaroon tayo ng prior period error. So, ang treatment ng prior period natin is it should be applied retrospectively. So, when you say retrospectively, babalikan mo yung pwede mo pang balikan na financial statement at ang gagawin mo ay number one, you will have to restate the comparative amounts for the prior period presented on which the error was occurred and to restate the opening balance of your asset, liabilities, and equity. So, it makes sense because you are correcting the previous financial statements, di ba? Hence, yung current na balance sheet accounts mo, di ba, ang balance sheet are real accounts, meaning the balances will be carried over. Okay, so kung nagre-restate ka ng prior period errors, ng prior ng prior financial statements due to prior period errors. So meaning magbabago yung balance sheet accounts mo or yung beginning balance ng iyong assets, liabilities, and equity. Okay? So what are the different kinds of error? We have your statement of financial position errors, income statement errors, and combined financial position and income statement errors. Okay. So when we say financial statement errors, ibig sabihin, naglaro lang yung error dito sa asset, liability, at equity. So ang kailangan mong gawin dito will be to reclassify. When you say reclassify, babaguhin mo. Okay? Ililipat mo yung maling amount from one account to another. Okay? So for example, a notes receivable is debited instead of accounts receivable. O ang original entry, debit ka ng notes receivable, credit ka ng sales. Yan yung original entry. So, ang adjusting journal entry mo to correct that is to debit accounts receivable, credit ka ng notes receivable. So, basically, para lang kayo, dito sa topic na to, para lang kayong gumagawa ng adjusting journal entries. Okay? If accounts payable is credited instead of notes payable, edi tanggalin mo si notes payable. Paano bawasan ng notes payable? I-debit mo. Accounts payable is credited instead of notes payable. O ang mali palang account dito, ang nagamit nila is accounts payable instead of notes payable. So, iset up mo si notes payable. You have to credit notes payable, debit mo si accounts payable kasi nga babawasan mo ito. 'Di ba? Babawasan mo. So, you have to debit. Preference share is credited instead of ordinary share. So, babawasan mo si preference share by debiting it and then you will set up the correct account which is ordinary share capital. So, ang affected dito sa errors related to statement of financial position is asset, liability, and equity. So, hindi siya combination ng income statement account kasi papasok yan kapag may balance sheet at income statement account dun sa category number 3. Pangalawa, we have your income statement errors. From the name itself, ang affected lang dito ay yung income statement accounts, which is technically your revenue and your expenses. So, ang gagawin mo dito or ang remedy dito is to reclassify as well. Parehas doon sa balance sheet statement. You have to reclassify. So, for example, during 2021, entity debited purchases instead of office supplies. Office supplies in this case is taken as an expense, ha? Baka sabihin nyo prepaid. So, taken as an expense yan. So, ano ba ang nangyari? Ang nangyari, ang original entry natin ay debit purchases, credit cash. Oh, 'di ba? Pero instead na dapat purchases, ang kailangan daw po dapat na entry natin is debit office supplies, Ayan, supplies, credit, cash. Okay? So, alin ang mali? Ito. At ito dapat yung i-set up. O, paano mo babawasan ng purchases? O, di i-credit mo. So, ang adjusting journal entry, i-credit mo si purchases. I-set up mo si office supplies. Okay? May kailangan ka bang gawing adjusting journal entry sa cash? Hindi, kasi pareho naman silang dapat na naka-credit. Okay? So, ang entry mo lang, office supplies. Bakit ba salaries yan? Supplies and then credit purchases. Adjusting journal entry through reclassification. Ngayon, pupunta naman tayo sa combined financial position and income statement errors. Ibig sabihin, sa journal entry na gagawin or sa adjusting journal entry na gagawin, it involves a balance sheet account and an income statement account. Okay, so for example, salaries is understated. So, ano ba ang affected kapag salaries is understated? So, accrued salaries payable yan at saka yung expense. Expense is a income statement account. Yung accrued salaries, balance sheet. Okay? So, ang combined statement of financial possession and income statement errors ninyo may be counterbalancing or non-counterbalancing. When you say counterbalancing, it corrects itself the next accounting period. Pag non-counterbalancing, ibig sabihin, kahit na madagdagan yung bawat taon na nagpe-prepare ka ng financial statement, error pa rin siya. Magtutuloy-tuloy yung error. Pag counterbalancing, mali mo this year, next year, tama mo na yan. Hindi mo na kailangang gumawa ng adjusting journal entries pagdating ng third year. Okay? So, tignan natin para mas maintindihan ninyo. So, what are counterbalancing errors? Counterbalancing errors are errors that if not detected are automatically counterbalanced or corrected in the next accounting period. In other words, these errors can be offset or corrected over two periods. Take note of the word two periods. These errors will correct themselves over two periods. Okay? So, pag sinabi natin two periods, kapag ang adjustment niyan is positive-negative. Okay, positive ka ng year 1, negative ka ng year 2. Or negative ka ng year 1, positive dapat ang year 2. Pagdating sa pag pinag-add mo sila, edi zero lang, di ba? So, kaya sinasabing counterbalancing because it is correcting. Zero yung effect niya pagdating ng year 2. Okay? So, what are the effects of counterbalancing errors? Income statements of two successive periods are incorrect, but the financial statement at the end of the first period is incorrect, pero pagdating na ng financial statement ng year 2, it is already correct. Okay? So ano nga ba yung mga examples ng counting balancing errors? Usually related sa inventory. Bakit? Kasi 'di ba may physical count na nangyayari. Okay? So inventory, prepaid expense, accrued expense, deferred income, accrued income. Okay? Sige, intindihin natin. So, overstatement ng inventory. Tignan natin yung problem ha. Okay. If December 31, 2022, the physical count was overstated by 50,000. If the books in 2023 have not been closed, the entry on December 31 to correct the error is debit ka ng retained earnings, credit ka ng inventory. Overstated yung physical count mo ng 2022. So, it makes your beginning inventory ng 2023 as overstated din. Okay? Overstated din. Kasi carry forward lang yung inventory mo, di ba? Overstated yung inventory mo ng 2023. Kaya ang adjusting journal entry natin will be to credit the beginning inventory ng 2023. And then, i-debit natin yung retained earnings, 50,000. Okay? Okay. Next. Okay. Take note. Ang consideration natin dito sa problem na to is that the 2023 books have not been closed. So, meron pa tayong opportunity to correct. Pero pag close na yung books ng 2023, since this is a counterbalancing error, wala na tayong gagawing journal entry. So take note ha, kapag counterbalancing, i-check nyo muna kung yung books ay already closed or hindi pa. Pag hindi pa close, gagawa ka ng adjusting journal entry. Pag close na, no need for adjusting journal entry. Sa problem natin, have not been closed, so kailangan mong gumawa ng adjusting journal entry to correct itself. Okay? Next, understated ending inventory. On December 31, 2022, the physical count was understated by 50,000. Understated. So, anong mangyayari sa beginning inventory ng 2023? It is also understated. Beginning inventory 2023 understated. Okay. Tanungin mo, close na ba yung books or hindi pa? Sabi niya, have not been closed. So, ang entry natin, kailangan tayong gumawa. Okay? I-debit natin si beginning inventory, 50,000 to set up yung kulang, and then credit tayo ng retained earnings. Okay? Ma'am, bakit ba retained earnings yung kinikredit natin or ginagamit natin pambangga sa counterbalancing errors? It depends. It's just that for inventory, di ba kasi, na-close na yan sa income summary account. Okay? So, retained earnings na ang pasok niyan. Income summary kapag sole prop, retained earnings kapag corporation. Yan. Pero, take note, what if close na yung books ng 2023, kailangan mo pa ba ng journal entry? Hindi na po. Okay? Bakit hindi na? Okay. Imagine niyo pag close na yung 2023, ibig sabihin, nakagawa ka na ng physical count niyan. So, yung error ng 2023, nabilang na yan sa physical count. Ulitin ko. Kapag close na yung financial statement ng 2023, ibig sabihin, tapos na yung physical count. Okay? Kung ano yung na-count nila at the end of the period na physical count, automatically yun na yung isa-set up mo as ending inventory. Okay? So, it's as if na-correct na yung balanse ng iyong ending inventory, yun ang remaining inventory mo. Okay? So, hindi na kailangan ng journal entry kapag na-close na for counterbalancing errors. Okay. Next. Wait lang. Babalik ako. Kukuha lang ako ng water. Okay. Next, understatement of purchases. Okay. Ano ba ang impact kapag understated ang purchases nyo? Siyempre, magkakaroon yan ng impact pagdating sa inventory. Okay? So, the entity failed to record the merchandise purchase in 2022, but it was recorded in 2023. Physical inventory in 2022 was correctly stated. If the books of 2023 have not been closed, the entry to record the error have not been closed. The entry to record the December 31, 2023 is, okay, hindi pa corrected hindi pa close yung 2023. So, ano ang naging error dito? Take note, dapat daw ang entry natin for 2022 is debit purchases, credit accounts payable, kung payable yan. However, that journal entry is already recorded 2023. Okay? So, affected yung 2023. So, pagdating ng 2023 books, mali na ni-record nila yung purchases ng 2023. So, magko-correct tayo. Okay? I-credit natin yung purchases, i-debit natin yung 50,000 because it affects your prior year, which is 2022, if the books have not been closed. However, if the books is already closed, no need for the entry, okay? Because the 2022 is already counterbalanced with 2023. Okay? Pag close na yung books, no need for journal entry na. Right. Next, overstatement of purchases and ending inventory. In December 31, 2022, the entity recorded 50,000 purchases in transit which it had no title. Okay, so overstated ang purchases mo. The same merchandise was included in the December 31, 2022. If the books of 2023 have not been closed, the entry to record the error in December 2023 are, okay, i-debit mo siya kasi pertaining talaga dapat, di ba, in transit siya ng 2022, eh wala kang title. Pagdating ng 2023, may title ka na ba? Yes. Okay? So, ang entry dapat is debit purchases, credit retained earnings. Okay? Pero, take note, itong 50,000 na i-include nila sa inventory noong December 31. So, overstated yung beginning inventory mo. So, babawasan natin yung beginning inventory ng 50,000, debit natin yung retained earnings. Okay? Paano kapag close na? Kapag close na, wala pa rin tayong journal entry na gagawin kasi counterbalance na yan for 2023. Next, understatement of sales. The entity failed to record the sales in 2022 but it was recorded in 2023. So ano naging mali ng 2023? Nag-record ka ng sales na hindi para sa kanya. Okay? So ang entry mo dito, i-debit mo si sales, credit mo si retained earnings if the books is not yet closed. Pero kapag close na yung books, no need for journal entry kasi nag-counterbalance na silang dalawa. Okay? How about overstatement and understatement of ending inventory? Okay. In December 2022, the entity recorded sales in transit to which the customer had no title. So anong ginawa niya? Saan niya ni-record yung sales? 2022, pero dapat hindi. Dapat 2023. So yan muna tayo mag-focus. So ngayon, ang nangyari sa sales ng 2023 is understated. Kaya debit tayo ng retained earnings, ire-record natin yan sa 2023 as sales. Debit retained earnings, 50,000. Credit ka ng sales, 50,000. Okay, that's for transaction number 1. Okay. The cost of merchandise was 30,000 and the same was excluded in December 31, 2022. Okay. Excluded siya ng December 31, 2022. Okay. Pero dumating siya sa atin 2023. Okay? So, ire-record natin yung inventory as part ng beginning inventory natin. Debit tayo ng inventory January 1, 2023, 30,000. Credit retained earnings. Pero again, kapag close na ang books, no need for journal entry both instances. Okay? Next. Okay. Next is the failure to record prepaid expense. Failure to record prepaid expense. On January 1, 2022, the entity purchased 2 years of insurance for 50,000. The payment was debited to an expense and no adjustment was made to the prepaid insurance in 2022. Okay, na-discover nila daw yan 2023 na. So kung titignan ninyo, tignan ninyo ha kung kailan bakit magka-counter balance yan. Kasi 'di ba kapag close na yung books ng 2023, itong insurance na to is tama naman na expense na siya. Okay? Expense na talaga siya. So wala ka na dapat makikita na prepaid insurance sa books mo. Okay? So, tama naman na expense na siya. However, the recording lang ng expense yung nagkaiba. Na-record siya noong 2022, instead, dapat yung kalahati na record ng 2023. Okay. So, kung hindi pa sarado yung books ng 2023, kailangan mag-recognize ka ng expense. Debit ka ng insurance expense, credit ka ng retained earnings. Okay? Retained earnings ang pasok, ha? Okay. Next. Paano kapag close na yung books ng 2023? Kasi tama naman na wala ka naman na dalagang prepaid insurance at the end of 2023 kasi lahat na-recognize daw niya 2022 expense. Oh, magjo-journal entry ka pa ba? The answer is no longer needed kasi nag-counterbalance na yan. Okay? Na-record mo yung expense ng 2022. So, tignan natin. Tignan nyo ha. 'Di ba meron tayong 2022 and then 2023. Okay. Ang nangyari, na-record mo yung expense dito. 50,000. Tapos dito, wala. Okay? Pag titignan mo sila, in total, pag close na yung books na yung 2023, tama ba na ang total expense mo for both period ay 50,000? The answer is yes. Tama ba na at the end of 2023 at after ma-close na mga books mo, hindi. Total ha, pag tama ba na ang prepaid insurance mo at the end of 2023, sarado na, is zero? Tama, okay? However, take note, ano ba ang impact ng counterbalancing? 'Di ba, both income statement are incorrect. Yung statement, balance sheet ng year 2, yun yung magiging correct. Pero both income statement is incorrect. Incorrect yung 2022 kasi ang na-recognize niyang expense 50,000. Incorrect yung 2023 na income statement kasi ang na-recognize niyang expense is zero. Dapat ito 25, dapat ito 25. Parehong yung income statement nila mali. Pero pagdating sa balance sheet, tama na ng 2023. Zero na yung prepaid insurance. Okay? So yun ang ibig sabihin ng counterbalancing errors. Next, failure to record accrued expense. On December 31, accrued rent expense was not recorded. Okay. If the books ng 2023 have not been closed, the entry to record the prior period on December 31 will be debit ka ng retained earnings, credit ka ng rent expense. Bakit ka nagki-credit ng rent expense? Di ba hindi na-record yung 50,000? Kasi ang assumption natin for 2023, ang ire-record mo na is 2 taon. Okay? So, nung nagkaroon ng payment nung 2023, debit siya ng rent expense for 100,000 pertaining to 2022 at 2023, credit ka ng cash. Okay? Pero yung 100,000 na yun, hindi naman yun expense ni 2023 lahat. 'Di ba? Hindi lahat yun expense ni 2023. Yung isa doon pertaining kay 2022. So, hindi yan dapat papasok sa rent expense ng 2023. Okay? Ulitin ko ha. Ano ang nangyari ng 2023? Pagdating ng 2023, ang na-record natin will be debit rent expense. Tignan nyo lang ha. 100,000. Okay. Sabihin natin, binayaran yan, cash, 50,000. Tapos, nag-credit tayo ng accrued expense. Okay? 50,000. Okay? Yung 50,000 dito, pertaining kay 2022, ito 2023. Pero ito, again, na-record siya 2023. So, kay 2023, ano ang magiging expense niya? 100,000. Pero kung hindi pa close yung books, kailangan nating bawasan tong rent expense ni 2023. Okay? Babawasan natin kasi ang talagang expense lang niya is 50,000. Kaya ang entry natin is credit rent expense, debit tayo ng 50,000 kasi close na yung books ng 2022. Pero paano kapag close na yung books ng 2023? Hayaan na natin to. Okay? Hahayaan na natin to. Okay? Mali na yung rent expense ni 2023, 100,000. Kaso ano pa magagawa mo? Close na. Pero tama ba na meron pa siyang accrued expense na 50,000? The answer is yes. Okay? Failure to record a deferred income. Okay. The entity received rent for 2 years in the amount of 50,000. So itong 2 years na to, ma-earn ito 2022 at ma-earn yan 2023. Okay? Kaya lang ang nangyari, since hindi na-record yung na-receive na rent, inassume na revenue ng 2023 yung buong 50,000. Okay, so kung ang revenue ay na-record ng 2023, 50,000, tama ba yun? The answer is mali kasi ang revenue lang ni 2023 should be yung 1/2 lang, kalahati. Okay? So, i-record natin ngayon yung, tama diba, rent for 2 years. Mali ako. Okay. Dito is na-record yung revenue ng 2022. Okay. Okay. Na-record daw yung rent income ng 2022. Okay, debit siya ng cash, revenue. Pero mali na revenue yung buong 50,000 ng 2022. Ngayon, pagdating ng 2023, may na-record bang revenue? Wala pa. If the books is not yet closed, ire-record mo yung revenue. Debit mo yung retained earnings, credit mo yung 25,000 na rent income. Again, retained earnings siya kasi pertaining siya sa prior period na may impact sa income statement. Okay? Which is already closed sa ating retained earnings. Okay? Pero kapag the books is already closed ng 2023, hindi mo na yan kailangang gawa ng journal entry. Okay? Kasi cumulatively, tama naman na rent income nila 25 na 50,000 at tama naman na wala na dapat silang deferred income ng 2023. So, magka-counterbalance lang yan. Okay? Last, failure to record accrued income. So, accrued income, hindi daw to na-record ng 2022. So, kailan to mare-record? Kailan nila ni-record? 2023. Okay, nung ni-record nila yan, debit sila ng interest receivable, credit, interest income ng 2023 na overstate yung interest income nila. So, babawasan natin ng 2023 ng interest income, kaya i-debit natin siya, and then you will credit retained earnings. Kasi, credit, papataasin natin dahil income yan ng 2022. Okay? Income yan ng 2022. Pero if the books is already closed, no need for journal entry. Non-counterbalancing errors. So ano ba yung mga non-counterbalancing errors? When you say non-counterbalancing errors, it does not correct itself within the 2 period. Okay? The income statement of the period in which the error was committed is incorrect, but the income statement of the succeeding period is not affected. The statement of financial position of the year of error and the succeeding financial position is incorrect. Okay? Dito, yung income statement, isa lang ang mali. Dito, financial position ng two succeeding years parehong mali. Okay? So, illustration. Malapit na tayo, diba? Okay. Next, illustration. Okay. On January 1, 2022, the entity purchased an equipment with a useful life of 500,000, but the same was debited for repairs and maintenance. Okay. Okay. So, ano nangyari noong 2022? Ang nangyari noong 2022 is debit ka ng repairs and maintenance, credit, cash. 500,000. Mali yan. Diba? Okay? Mali yan. Dapat ang entry mo is debit ka ng equipment, credit ka ng cash. 500,000. Okay? At the same time, noong 2022, dapat nag-recognize ka ng depreciation kasi ilang useful life nito? 500, 100. Magre-recognize ka din ng depreciation for 100,000 at saka accumulated depreciation for 100,000. Ito yung should be entry mo ng 2022. Kaso nandito ka na lang eh. Okay? Next. Pagdating ng 2023, kung tama yung 2022 entries mo, ang entry mo dapat ay debit depreciation, 100K, and then credit accumulated depreciation para sa depreciation for 2023. Okay? So, una, gawin muna natin yung adjustment. Okay. So, ang adjustment natin is ito. Okay, dapat tatanggalin natin si repairs and maintenance. Alright? Ng 2022 at i-debit natin si equipment. Okay. So, that is pertaining to the first journal entry. I-debit mo si equipment, credit mo si retained earnings. Bakit retained earnings at hindi repairs and maintenance? Because ito po ay already close na to your retained earnings account. Close na yung books mo ng 2022. Okay. So next, na-set up na natin si equipment. Ngayon, meron tayong dapat na depreciation, 100K at accumulated depreciation cumulatively na 200K. Okay. Sa 2023, if yung books ay hindi pa close, ang gagawin natin will be, kasi 'di ba, remember, 2022 books is already closed. So ito, ideally, dapat pupunta sa retained earnings. So, ang entry natin, i-debit natin si retained earnings. And then, i-credit natin si accumulated depreciation. Okay. And then, for 2023, end of the year, kailangan mag-debit tayo ng depreciation. Ito yon. Okay. So, i-debit natin si depreciation, 100,000. And then, kikredit tayo ng accumulated depreciation. So, technically, itong journal entry number 2 ninyo, ito po, ay combined po nito. Nung should be entry natin. Nung 2022 at 2023. Ano ang pinagkaiba nila? Ito po. Yung depreciation ng 100K na depreciation dapat ng 2022, nilagay na po natin sa retained earnings kasi close na ang books ng 2022. Okay? So, non-counterbalancing sila kasi hanggat hindi mo kinokorek, yung nangyari, hindi po makokorek yung financial statements natin. Okay? Next. Itong illustration na to is nagpapakita siya ng, I think, counterbalancing and non-counterbalancing errors to. Okay, yung correcting entries kayo na bahal. Sige, i-discuss natin yan. Sige. Illustration. So, December 31, makinig kayo mabuti dito ha, kasi napakagandang example nito. Dito na yung counterbalancing and non-counterbalancing entries. December 31, inventory overstated. Okay. Meron balikan natin. Meron pala dito. Okay. So, the entity reported net income for 2021, 3 million, 22 million, for 2022, 4 million, and 2023, 3.5. So, sa solution ninyo, ilatag nyo yung net income per books. Ayan, nakalatag na, di ba? Okay, so okay na tayo dyan. Next, let's proceed sa December 31, 2021. Sabi niya, ending inventory is overstated. Pag ending inventory mo is overstated, ano ang mangyayari sa cost of goods sold mo? Yung cost of goods sold mo, take note ha, cost of goods sold will be understated. At kapag cost of goods sold is understated, ano ang nangyayari sa net income mo? Net income is overstated. Okay? Okay, 2021. So, tignan nyo yung number 1 dito ha. Overstatement sa 2021. Sabi niya, yung net income mo overstated, kaya babawasan natin. Okay? Pagdating ng 2022, dadagdagan natin kasi counterbalancing error nga. Kung binawasan mo siya ng 2021, 2022, dadagdagan mo siya. Okay? So, tapos na tayo for number 1. Next. On December 31, 2023, ending inventory is understated. Kung ang ending inventory ay understated, cost of goods sold is overstated. Okay? And then, your net income is understated. Okay? Kung bakit cost of goods sold yung over or under, kayo nang bahala dyan. Okay? Dapat ngayon pa lang, naiintindihan nyo na yan. Kasi take note ha. Kunwari, Ang cost of goods sold ko ay 100,000. Tapos, ang ending inventory ko, hindi. Balikan natin. Okay. So, kapag ang total goods available for sale ko ay 100,000 at ang nilagay kong total, palitan natin para mas makarelate. Total goods available for sale is 200,000 at ang ending inventory ko ay 120,000. Sabi ko ending. Oh. 'Di ba? Ang cost of goods sold ko is 80,000. Yan yung na-record natin for number 1. Pero sa totoong buhay, dapat ang ending inventory mo ay 100 lang. Okay. Kung ang tama, ang total goods available for sale mo ay 100,000, yung ending inventory mo ay 100,000, ang cost of goods sold mo should only be 100,000. Okay. So, understated yung iyong cost of goods sold. Pag understated ang cost of goods sold mo, o 'di ba? Isipin niyo na lang, doon lang kayo sa sales minus cost of goods sold. O, mababa ito. Malaki ang ibibigay niya sa iyong income. So kapag understated ang cost of goods sold mo, over naman ang net income. Okay? Kailangan guys, pag as accountants, marunong kayong mag-analyze ng relationship ng bawat accounts. Okay? So ito, pag binawas mo sa sales, malaki ang ilalagay niya sa yung, sige na nga. Example natin ha. Kunwari, ang sales natin ay 500,000. Ulitin ko ha. Sales natin 500,000. Ito yung should be. Ito yung tama. Ito, mali. Okay. So, kung 500,000 at ang cost of goods sold ko ay yung mali, 80,000. Ito. Magkano ang magiging net income ko or gross profit ko? Ang magiging gross profit ko is 420. Okay. Mali yan, di ba? Mali to. Pero kapag ang cost of goods sold ko ay 100, ano mangyayari sa gross profit ko? 400 lang. So kapag understated ang cost of goods sold mo, ano mangyayari sa gross profit mo? 'Di ba mas mataas compared sa should be? Overstated ang net income. Okay? So pag understated ang cost of goods sold, ang net income ay overstated. Malinaw. Okay. I hope naintindihan ninyo. By now, dapat marunong na kayong relationship with each other. Okay? Next. December 31, 2021, accrued interest payable is understated. Okay. Accrued interest payable is understated. Ano ba ang kapartner ng accrued interest payable? 'Di ba? Hindi ka daw nakapag-recognize ng accrued interest payable. So anong nangyari sa interest expense mo? Okay? Ang interest expense mo will be understated din. Okay? Understated din ang interest expense. Okay. Pag understated ang interest expense, kulang yung iyong expense, overstated ang iyong net income. Okay? Overstated ang net income. Kaya yung 2021 is babawasan natin ng 40,000. Okay? Pero take note, kung understated ito, ibig sabihin binayaran niya ng following year, 2022. Yung interest expense ng 2022 is sumobra naman. Okay? Para ko i-correct, kailangan ibalik mo yung supposed to be, idiniduct mo kay 2021. Okay? Okay na tayo dyan. Next. Accrued interest payable is overstated. Kung overstated ang interest payable, the interest expense is over din. Napasobra yung deductions mo. So, ang impact niyan, kailangan mong mag-add back kailan sa 2023. Okay? So, okay na tayo sa number 4. Depreciation for 2022 is understated. Depreciation. Okay, so kailangan nating bawasan yung net income mo ng 180 for 2022. Again, ang depreciation, hindi yan counterbalancing. Okay? Ganon din sa 2023, overstated. Overstated, kaya babawasan, napasobra yung iyong deductions sa 2023, kaya idadagdagan natin siya ng 30,000. Okay. So, ang corrected net income natin for 2021, 2,840,000, 3,980,000, at for 2023, 3,830,000. Okay. Sabi niya dito sa problem, 2023 books have not been closed. Okay? 2023 books have not been closed. Okay. So number 1, since this is a counterbalancing error, meron ba tayong kailangan gawin? The answer is wala na. Okay? Kasi nag-offset na sila eh. Ito, nag-offset na po ito. Tsaka ito. For number 2, 2023 inventory, hindi pa close ang books. Understated ang inventory mo ng 2023. So, debit ka ng ending inventory, credit ka ng profit and loss. Profit and loss pa lang yung ginamit, hindi pa retained earnings. Kasi yung profit and loss, i-close pa niya yan sa retained earnings. Hindi pa nga nagko-closing journal entries. So, credit ka ng profit and loss. Okay, next. Understatement of accrued interest payable. May impact ba siya sa 2023 books? Wala. Offset na sila. So, number 3, wala na yung journal entry. For number 4, overstatement of accrued interest payable. Overstatement ng accrued interest payable, dagdag tayo ng net income. Hindi pa close, di ba? So, ang entry natin would be debit ka ng babawasan mo tong accrued interest payable, credit ka ng interest expense 90,000. Next, understatement of your 2022 depreciation. This one is not counterbalancing. Okay? So, ang entry natin dito, since close na yung books ng 2022, ilalagay na natin to sa retained earnings. Debit ka ng retained earnings, 180,000. Credit ka ng accumulated depreciation, 180,000. For 2023 depreciation naman, ito magkaiba kasi the books is not yet closed. So, debit ka ng depreciation expense, hindi, overstatement pala. Overstatement, so, debit ka ng accumulated depreciation, 30,000. Credit ka ng depreciation expense, 30,000 pesos. Okay? So, you have to master this one. To be honest, ang correction of errors is super dali lang. Ang mahirap lang dyan is yung counterbalancing errors. You have to understand, third year na kayo. So, dapat alam nyo na yung impact kapag ang inventory overstated, ang inventory understated, dapat alam nyo yung income, yung impact niyan sa net income. Okay? Kapag hindi or nag-struggle kayo, yun ang kailangan ninyong aralin. Okay? Hindi mo yun mamememorize. Okay? Kailangan ng analysis. Accounting is not memorization. It is an analysis. Okay? Hindi ninyo mamememorize. Unless talagang, ako hindi ko to memorize to be honest kasi nakakalito. Okay? So, ina-analyze ko siya. Gumagawa ako ng scenarios. Okay? So, that's it for your correction of errors.